have just one question. Zardoz? This is Stinker Madness.
What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at me!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at me!
No more hangers!
It stinks.
Hangers!
Get to the chopper! Stinker Madness.
Hello, and welcome to Stinker Madness, the podcast about bad movies, for bad movie lovers, by bad movie lovers. I'm your host, Justin. With me, always, Sam and Jackie. And this time, we have a special return guest from... We should have like a drum roll.
I don't have that queued up. You're the sound effect guy.
I'm the sound effect guy,
Yeah.
and I have to do the voice shit.
Well, all our sound effects are post-production, so...
Oh, okay. From our Hell Squad and Megaforce episodes, it's Carl!
Hello.
Good to have you back, Carl.
Carl seems real excited to be here.
Hello.
Thanks for having me back.
He just got done watching Zardoz. His brain is melted.
Yeah. It is a brain-melting film.
Indeed. Carl, this was your film that you brought to us. Sam and I had seen it before. Jackie had not, I believe.
I'd been sending around the picture of Sean Connery in his red garb to like various people all this last year because I thought it was funny.
What would we call his outfit? What is that called?
A leather diaper?
Yeah.
Sexy bandolier.
I was saying hot pants bandolier.
Hot pants bandolier or like a
But he's got hooker boots, too.
Chewbacca onesie with hooker boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta get the ladies 101.
Did
Did it?
Yeah, I mean, if I would have seen this walking down the street, I'd been like, yeah.
Or been like, where's the parade?
Yeah, well, actually, according to all of the data that we have, apparently that he is sexual chocolate because the one woman on the podcast right now has said, yes, please, and every girl in the movie said, uh-huh.
Indeed.
Yeah.
True.
However, it is Sean Connery, and we do always have to ask ourselves, did the women that say yes, please, have a choice in the matter?
Oh.
What, too soon to diss on Sean Connery?
I guess.
Sexually assaulting many, 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 many women.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he beat his wife, too. Sean Connery's a dick.
Oh.
Yeah, everything I've heard about Sean Connery is that he is, like, a remnant of the past that we don't want to acknowledge.
Wow, so he's really not the sexy guy. Oh, God, that just destroyed everything for me.
Well, visually, he's a masterpiece, but...
Yeah, but who wants to be with Dickbag McGee?
Every woman in 1947.
That also didn't have a choice. So
Yeah,
I don't know if
apparently.
they did, you know.
I don't know when he was doing because he was like third in Mr. Universe or something.
Right.
I think the misconception is that he won, which he didn't, but he was in it.
Okay.
And he was a finalist. So
Wasn't he in something else? Like, haven't we seen Sean Connery someplace before? Like something...
You mean for the podcast?
No, just in general. Wasn't
Oh.
he? Wasn't he something else?
He was James Bond.
What?
I was.
In fact, I thought that was actually what you were referencing to when you were talking about his
Grabbing
sexual-
asses?
Yeah, his sexual assault history. I was like,
Was it him or James Bond or both of them?
Maybe
Yeah.
he was method acting.
Yeah. Where's the line? It's a blurred line.
well, definitely his James Bond character is a much more misogynistic James Bond than, say, Roger Moore's.
Sure.
Roger Moore is more of like a naughty schoolboy.
Or a retired businessman who enjoys golfing.
Yeah.
And I'm
Or
not going to
that-
lie, I think Roger Moore was the best James Bond.
Oh no, Lazenby was the best James
No,
Bond.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he is.
Clearly not true.
No, he wasn't. Roger Moore is so much more sexy than any James Bond that's been.
He's also the movies are just more fun. The Roger Moore movies are just fun.
And he has nice hair.
So, Sean Connery, obviously James Bond.
Indiana was the dog's name.
Indiana was the dog's name. That's pretty much what we know him from. Because what I know about Zardoz is that after Diamonds Are Forever, Sean really didn't have very good prospects. Because what else are you going to cast him in other than James Bond? So he got this movie, and then question mark? What happened to Sean Connery
I thought
between this and Last Crusade?
plenty of stuff.
Like what?
Well, Highlander was somewhere in
Yeah.
there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. Highlander.
Highlander, he was working pretty consistently.
Yeah.
And he did that. There was the detective picture that he did the first time that he showed himself bald.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one, Sam, considering you can't even remember it.
I can't remember it at all. I
was-
really like it though.
Okay.
If I
He was
could
also in that
remember
movie
what it was
where-
called.
Where he was the dad with the two brothers that were from
Ghost
Ireland.
Dad. Yeah, Ghost Dad.
No.
Oh.
The two brothers that were from Ireland, and they were going around shooting people and shit. And then he comes into
Honey,
the church
that
at
was
the end.
way after Indiana Jones and the Last
Well,
Crusade.
I know, but we're
The Boondock Saints. Yeah, I'll help you out there.
Okay, thank
that's
you.
like
I
really
a
liked that
2003 movie.
I never saw that movie.
It's not good.
I liked it.
It's buddish.
He's in Rising Sun with Wesley Snipes.
It's true. That's also
93.
after Last Crusade.
He was in Shawshank Redemption.
Was Hunt for Red
No,
October?
he was not.
Hunt for Red October. That was before. That was a
That
big
was
deal.
before.
It was
Yeah.
before. Yeah, you're right. I am full of shit. Okay.
Yeah, screw you, Justin.
Congratulations, Sean Connery, on your illustrious career.
Yeah.
Other than Zardoz.
What
Sam.
do you mean other than Zardoz?
Well, let's
for
tell-
most people, this would be a career highlight.
Yeah, they'd be like, I was in Zardoz, and everybody'd be like, what the fuck is that?
Oh.
And then be like, let me show you a clip.
Yeah, and if it was
Oh.
anyone else, they would have looked at me like, those boots. They should have got Sean Connery for this.
Sam, what trivial information have you dug up on Zardoz?
One of the things that anytime you see Zardoz, your main question is going to be, what the fuck was he thinking about?
Right.
And there's a very specific thing that happened here, is that he had,
We don't get to guess?
okay, it's going to be, if you were able to guess this, then I will be very surprised. Guess?
Drugs.
No. So,
What? Nobody else is going to guess?
No.
That was,
Jesus.
we all were thinking the same thing.
yeah. There was probably drugs involved, though. He had been
Yeah, Quaaludes.
working on adapting Lord of the Rings, and they had gotten a lot of stuff
Who?
together.
Sean Connery?
John Boorman.
John Boorman,
the
you should probably-
director.
yeah, okay.
Had been looking at doing Lord of the Rings, and they had put a lot of this stuff together just to do some testing and things like that, and then ultimately no studio would put up the money to actually do Lord of the Rings in
Are
1974.
you kidding me? How would that even work?
It wasn't going to happen, but since he'd already been working on it and he still wanted to do something fantastical, and he had just come off of the amazing success of Deliverance, he just sort of like Pinewood's just like, go ahead and do whatever movie you want to make. And so he did Zardoz.
Okay. Okay. Was it a good decision?
It broke even.
Oh, well.
Guess how much this cost?
12 million.
$1.5 million.
Really?
John Boorman's very efficient. You actually look at his filmography. He can put things together on a shoestring, and even though some of his more higher budgeted films haven't done well, you watch them and you go, he didn't do anything wrong here. It's just that this might have a hard time finding an audience. Say.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kept it on the cheap. However, the costumes, obviously, the sets, and the world that he has built all looks pretty elaborate. I would think that he would have spent more on this.
You know, that's, again, a guy doing a really good job. You really look at this, they probably did this in either the smallest Pinewood soundstage or half of a soundstage, and they have one location.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like that. It feels much
No,
bigger.
they have two. They have two locations, and but maybe they did two different film crews. There's the beach,
Sure.
Death Beach.
Actually, when I say one location, I'm thinking that farmstead, lake, and beach are all within a
Oh, sure,
20-minute drive. So
Right.
they've got one exterior and one interior, and they make this movie that doesn't seem like it's just two spots.
Now
It was also done in Ireland.
right.
So I think it was it Scotland?
No, it was an Ireland film, which, they probably did it for potatoes.
Oh no, no.
No.
Oh,
But on side.
mean.
Yeah.
It could have gone worse.
Don't pick on the Irish. They've had enough
Yeah,
by not having potatoes.
she could have.
There were potatoes in the giant head.
They gave us potatoes and they chased those goddamn Protestants out. Ah.
It's better than smallpox blankets. Carl, this is again your movie brought to us. What was your first experience with Zardoz?
Wait, you should probably also mention that he owns this movie.
I just said that he brought it to us.
Well, that could mean a lot of things, but
Okay.
he owns this movie, which makes me super jealous.
Yeah.
Like, I totally want this movie.
All right.
Yeah.
I had heard of Zardoz has a certain reputation in cult movie circles. You don't like read about cult movies without hearing about it.
Right.
And I've been wanting to watch it for a long time. And when Twilight Time came out with its edition, I decided I was going to purchase it, and I felt like you guys were the best ones to watch it with, because I know that Sam knows a lot about John Boorman, and that would be informative. It's a movie that needs somebody who can help you to be informative.
Right.
Because the movie does kind of force you to like make a lot of guesses about what you think is going on, you know.
Which we will try to do.
Yeah, which we will try to do.
Why did you pick this movie for me, Carl?
What I didn't realize you had a thing for Sean Connery in a diaper, but I'm glad you do. So
yeah, see, something for everyone.
It has something for everyone.
An elderly Scotsman with back hair in a diaper.
So, but I'm fascinated with 70s. Was it made in the 70s?
74.
Sam? 74. So 70s science fiction, you know, was always a weird beast before everybody decided to stick to the Star Wars template.
Right. Space fantasy.
Yeah, space fantasy. There's a lot of science fiction in the 70s that's a lot more cerebral. It doesn't necessarily always make sense. It doesn't necessarily always accomplish what it's trying to do, but it's, you know, it's like the point is trying to answer these weird philosophical questions, you know, as opposed to, you know, and I'm not accusing Star Wars of being mindless. I'm just saying Star Wars
I will.
exists to do a different thing, you know. It's not trying to answer specific it's not philosophical questions as much as it's like this grand general scheme. Anyway, you know, like movies like Logan's Run, Planet of the Apes, and all of this, and it's also fascinating what all these movies do with, as far as special effects it goes, with what they have. You know, there's a lot of 70s movies are unable to, you know, like they were unable to do what Star Wars did because what Star Wars did hadn't been invented yet.
Right.
You know, they do some fascinating camera cuts in here, like when he enters the crystal, you know, and some of it really works. There was one shot that did not work and made us all laugh, you know, but it's all these 70s science fiction movies are fascinating to me for those reasons.
It seems to me like the science fiction filmmakers and writers were trying to bust out from the drive-ins that they had been relegated to from films such as The Crawling Eye and Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. That's the producers and the studio execs behind all those films were like, oh, well, you make something that'll work at the drive-in theater. That's what you're doing. But then the 70s come along, and you've got movies like specifically The Last Drive-In and you know, the game changers as far as filmmaking and storytelling. And yet these guys are still shackled by something that they're trying to sell to a mass market while going all the way surreal and philosophical in their statements that they're trying to make, which is a huge break from what science fiction was before the 70s. So I also applaud 70s science fiction movies.
One of the things that you can actually really pinpoint late 60s, early 70s in filmmaking and its style, especially with science fiction, is that it's hard to push science fiction. But the one thing that studio executives and teenagers had in common at that point was drugs.
Right.
So you could push psychedelia. And so you always have these sort of psychedelic elements in these science fiction movies because until you said it's psychedelic, they wouldn't do it. So as long as you add this small psychedelic element into it, even if it's just visual, then the producer's like, I'm fine with it. The kids will love it. I like drugs. They like drugs. Psychedelia.
Even
Yay.
if the film is making a statement that is anti-psychedelic.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
God damn it! This podcast just got super classy. Thanks, Carl.
It's Carl's fault.
I know, Carl.
We need to start talking about butts and poop again.
I know. Like, how am I supposed to contribute with like this classiness going on?
Classy.
Well-
Like we're sipping fucking martinis, Jackie, and smoking from those long stem cigarettes. It's real classy in here.
That's only ladies do that, Justin. Why
Well-
are you smoking from a long stem cigarette?
Because I'm classy.
But you're only going to be able to stay classy for so long because we have to talk about this movie, which at one point puts soapy tits on a big screen.
It does. Yes.
All right, well then, are we ready?
Yeah.
Zardoz, starring Sean Connery and Charlotte
Charlotte Rampling.
Rampling, yeah, who became quite the actress.
Yeah. If you've never seen the Night Watch, what is it? The Night Porter.
Mm-hmm.
That's an amazing film. It's not happy. It's not happy. A little deer huntery,
Yeah,
but very good.
okay.
Very good.
Justin won't let me watch The Deer Hunter.
Nope, I will not. The movie starts with a floating dinner theater head guy. He strikes me as somebody who would work well at the dinner theater as a narrator. Is this?
Psychedelia.
It is, but is there a sense also of Deus Ex Machina here with this guy and his floating head? That
Yeah.
you know, he's a god. He is Zardoz, the narrator.
Mm-hmm.
And he totally fucks the fourth wall. Like, fuck it. He's telling us that we're assholes, he's an asshole, everybody's an asshole, and it's all for the sake of enjoying a goddamn movie once in a while.
This thing feels like it was forced in afterwards.
I think so too.
They were like, Boorman's, where's our psychedelia? This isn't psychedelic enough.
Mm-hmm.
And they push this in because the rest of the film never says anything about, it doesn't ever become self-aware. And at the very beginning, he's like, this is a possible future, da-da-da-da-da. And you're like, what? No, this is actually just a really, without this scene, this is a really tight PA film. Like, this is one of the best PA films ever made.
Public announcement?
Post-apocalyptic.
Oh, wow.
You know, I'm just saying that this guy, I wanted him to die right off the bat.
Oh, he's the worst.
And it was really sad to me that they didn't like him enough to give him a real mustache.
I love the fake mustache on him.
too.
Like, they
It's so
just,
stupid looking.
it's just like they were like, okay, who's got a magic marker? He doesn't look mystical enough.
Do you think they were trying to fool us, or do you think they were out trying to tell us this is what people do in the future? They draw facial hair on themselves.
Nobody else had drawn facial hair, right?
That's true.
I would guess that a lot of these people got free reign on what to do with their characters.
Yeah, maybe.
And this is an actor's decision. He drew that on himself and showed up, and Boorman's like, fuck it. I'll go with it.
Who's
He's
to
like,
say they don't do this in
I'm
the
willing
future?
to accept that as an answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's like, haha, fuck you. You can't get it off. It's a magic marker.
It's tattoo. Oops.
It's interesting that you said dinner theater, because there was several moments in the movie where I thought the acting belonged more in a dinner theater than in a movie.
Yeah.
Like, people felt like they were acting without props or without, the benefit of what a movie brings to the table.
Yes.
So a lot of weird acting choices there.
Like I'm going to call him Roger Daltrey for the sake of him looking like Roger Daltrey, but the character's name is Friend, I guess.
Yeah.
He has, he carries this old man voice throughout the entire film. It doesn't match with what his visage is until suddenly it does match with his visage, which we'll talk about. But it's just some weird acting decisions, and I don't necessarily think the acting's bad in this.
No,
it's just strange.
It's at every turn of the corner, acting, directing, photography. If anybody's got an idea, throw it out here. We've got this much time. We only have this much money. Let's fucking do it. And you get really interesting decisions. You can't say whether they're good or bad, but you can say these are interesting decisions.
Yeah. That's my question for the end of the film. Anyways, so he fucks off. It's now the year 2293, so very far in the future. This time there's a real floating head floating over the earth. It's a stone head.
They call it, it's the stone head.
Of Zardoz.
Of Zardoz, yeah.
Which the people on the ground believe that Zardoz is their god. He is just this floating head guy that comes down and is like, I'm gonna say some stuff, and you guys are gonna like worship me, and it's gonna be cool, and then I'm gonna float away.
Yep.
This was a great scene because he comes down. He's like, "Guns are awesome. Shoot everybody."
Yes.
And then and everybody's like, "Yeah, woo, kill everyone." And then he's like, "Penises are bad. They spread seed." And nobody says anything. Like nobody's cheering. They're like, "Oh, just give us the guns and fuck off."
Yeah.
What?
But it is interesting that, because guns are normally thought of as a stand-in for the penis.
Sure.
And whereas this movie actually separates it and says, no, it's a substitute for the penis.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. Because only certain people are allowed to get down.
Yeah. Which, okay. So, anyways, he barfs some guns out
Yep.
for these guys to kill. Even though they have guns, they need more guns.
Sure.
And there's not like enough. It seems like there's the guns to people ratio is too much. Like there's gonna still be, if everybody gets 2 guns, they still got to ride their horses around. There's still gonna be a pile of guns there.
Yeah.
And then what happens if the villagers come and grab the guns and then they revolt? Because in this world there's 2 different types of people. There's the executioners,
Sure.
who wear adult diapers and ride on horses and wear some of them wear Zardoz masks.
Yeah.
And then there is just the poor.
Well, it seems like in the flashbacks they're the poor, but in the present, I will liken it to sort of a tax accountant beach party.
Yeah, it's a tax accountant beach party.
They're all wearing suits, but they're at the beach, so they're not wearing
They
anything
never go
underneath
anywhere else but the beach.
Blazer and the pants, so they're barefoot, no shirt, blazer, and they're all running around getting shot at the beach.
Is their world the beach? Is that supposed to be like a representation of a nuked world or a dead world? There's no buildings, there's no nothing, and so
There
maybe
are buildings.
Yeah, through other flashbacks, you do see buildings.
But those are
that they-
before the bad times, like when
Maybe-
it got real bad.
Maybe the ocean is just, that's how far the executioners have pushed them, is all the way to the edge of the land. They've got nowhere else to go. They're getting shot.
Yeah, and pillaged.
And some poor fucker gets run over by a horse in one of these shots.
Yes.
Really bad.
Yeah. It was nice knowing him. I hope his family got a good severance package. Severance from him.
No.
Here's your severance package. You've been fired from life.
Yeah. He probably got a clam or an oyster when it stepped on his head and it plunged him into the sand, and he came out like, hey, an oyster. All right.
Dumb Sam.
I got kicked in the back of the head. Well, at least I got lunch. Can't eat those raw, though.
You get the shits.
What?
So a whole culture that's
Yeah,
based
segue.
on the idea of like executioners who are meant to hunt and kill people, of which Sean Connery is one.
Right.
And at this point, still, we don't know much about Sean Connery's culture. You learn more about it as the movie progresses. And then the next thing you know is Sean Connery has snuck somehow onto the stone head, and he's flying to see where it goes. He's waiting to see where it will take him.
Yeah, there's also people in saran wrap inside Zardoz's head.
And that doesn't feel like it ever gets explained.
No.
They're just there.
Can we?
They're props. And I
For
don't know what they
boobs?
mean.
Because they're naked people.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
saran wrap who may or may not be alive. They're like saran wrap cocooned. And some of them have blood on their face.
Sure.
Yeah.
Are they like, maybe
Oh,
they're proof
I don't
that, so to make sure the executioners are doing their job, maybe like Zardoz sucks some of the dead bodies up as he's flying by the beach party, and then that's just his like preservation. Like he put, it's like a fridge
These are
for
cadavers.
corpses, and then he flies back to wherever. Like, hey, what did you meet your quota? Yeah, look at all these fucking naked people I got in my head.
Yeah, I'll take that. They're for genetic study.
Yeah, that's what I think too. They're genetic study.
Okay.
Yeah, especially because later in the movie you learn the person who designed Zardoz was specifically trying to create Sean Connery. And so I could believe that his floating head is also a genetic lab.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and he's in there. The floating head dinner theater guy from the very beginning. He's in there like just chilling out, walking around like, all right, we got some wheat, we got some potatoes, and we got some naked people.
Mm-hmm.
This was a successful trip to Executioner Town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for one factor he didn't think about, or he did. We'll see. Zed, Sean Connery's character, is inside with a gun, blasts him in the arm.
Yeah, it's not a good shot.
It doesn't even make sense. The bullet curves. But either way, he's like, ow, you shot me. Bye.
And then he doesn't fall out, which is a real puzzle. He floats away.
He floats away to his death.
Now,
No. Well,
he does die.
you think he floats to his death, but
Right. But yeah, he flies?
I think he has shitty levitation. So, because everybody else has mind powers, and he's like, I can levitate long enough to get over here, and now I'm falling.
Right. Because eventually he starts falling to the earth.
To die.
But it's really silly how he just is like, I'm floating out the mouth of Zardoz, even though I am Zardoz.
Falling sideways.
Okay, so the head lands with Sean Connery, Zed still attached, and I guess it's at Zardoz, his house.
It's at the vortex.
Yeah, it's inside this vortex. We'll get there, but it's Zardoz's house. It's just returned to where it's autopiloting, basically. And Zed gets out, and he's like, this place is different. There's like a saran wrap dome for marijuana growth. That's cool.
There's a butt dome there.
Yeah, that's the hydroponics butt where they keep the pot. And then he goes inside that dome. He finds a stairway upstairs, implying that it's like the TARDIS. It's bigger on the inside. It's like Zardoz's bedroom or his masturbatorium to himself. I don't really know.
It's his bedroom.
Where he also masturbates. Actually, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Wiener
Later
doesn't
we
work.
talk about unworking wieners.
Right. And he opens up a little jewelry box, and inside is a very important device in this world. It's what I will call the Amazon Alexa ring, because you ask this thing any question, and it will tell you the answer.
Sure.
It is always connected to the internet.
Yeah.
And everybody's got one.
It's not really an Amazon Alexa ring, because if you ask it a question, it'll answer you, rather than order you a fucking pizza when you ask to hear, James Brown songs.
Right.
When we call it's a very damning. It's a condemnation to call this thing Alexa. It works great versus some of the things that happen when you talk to voice-activated machinery in today's common modern society.
So I'm taking it that's happened to you. You're like, play James Brown, and I ordered you 5 pizzas from Domino's.
It does it better than my phone. I tried to do some like voice-to-text thing, and then you end up you want to ask, your brother to hang out, and then or something like that, and you end up doing some weird innuendo for sex to one of your family members. You're like, that is not what I just said. What the fuck?
So the rings work better than Sam's
Shitty Samsung phone.
Yeah.
He also finds a message that says that Zardoz is a guy named Arthur Frayne.
Fiend.
Fiend?
Yeah,
Okay.
Fiend and Friend, and they're best friends.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't catch that. Arthur Fiend in Vortex 4. Okay. Well, that's not what we told us earlier, so I have some question marks, says Zed to himself. But he follows some people. He finds some young nubile women to follow into some weird place. They've got some people living in trees that are just hanging out that never comes back into play ever.
Maybe they leave the trees. I don't know.
What the hell were they doing up there?
What the hell are they
Posing.
doing anywhere?
Right.
yoga.
Tree yoga. Right.
Yeah.
They're
Probably a thing.
They're like Christmas ornaments up there.
Yeah.
There's some others just carrying some stuff into this. I'm gonna call it. It's called the Tabernacle. We find out later, but for fun's sake, it's called the Pyramid for me.
Oh, boy.
Hey,
Yeah.
it's a pyramid made out of mirrors.
Yeah.
And then another lady rides up with her shirt off on a horse, and he's like, "Boobies."
He's like, I know which way. I now have a clear path to victory. I'm
Boobs.
following the boobs.
Boobs. Yep, boobs. So he runs to this lake, and there's a lady there, and she's like, "What's up?" And he's like, "I'll fucking kill you, lady." But she's like, "You can't fucking kill me. I'm gonna mind zap you with the powers of her mind."
And the first time I saw this, she's the lady in the lake, and he's like this whole thing. And I feel like there was this Arthurian thing that he was like,
Right.
he was trying to do, but then he totally abandons. But then not really, because he is kind of like King Arthur. It's very strange.
And he was King Arthur.
Yeah, Sean Connery was also King Arthur.
That was in between
No, it wasn't. That was after.
with Richard Gere.
Yeah, man, that was in the 90s.
We're gonna do that for an episode.
I really don't fucking want to.
First night, they're wearing Star Trek costumes
It sucks so bad.
in the Middle
It's
Ages.
so dumb. Okay.
So he discovers this new, basically what's supposed to be utopian world
Right.
that these young men and women have. But they, I think it was a choice to make sure that even the men looked somewhat like they're all shaven.
They're fancy.
Yeah, they're fancy.
Mhm.
I
Dainty
think
as well.
I think
Yeah.
they're trying to provide like a very feminine society.
It's genderless,
Yeah,
but it leans towards the.
yeah.
Yeah, there's not one buff dude in this whole society.
Mm.
If I was living there, I'd shoot myself in the face.
All of them are great dancers.
Yes, they are great dancers. And you begin to learn a little bit, with Sean Connery, you begin to learn a little bit about how this culture works. Apparently, they're all able to link to each other through their minds, talk to each other that way. There's a lot of talk, like they seem to have lots of votes, and the votes, because there's not very many of them, and because they are all telepathic, the votes happen instantly and they're tallied instantly.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
he thinks it's the afterlife. That once you die as an executioner, you're rewarded by going to the vortex.
I think this is part of a ruse that he's putting on.
Oh.
He's playing dumb because you find out later that he's planning an invasion.
Yeah, right. True.
And he didn't plan the invasion halfway after he got there.
Right.
So he's playing
He
dumb.
is
right
playing
now.
dumb, but he's also playing dumb to us because we
Sure.
don't know what to think at this point. So, okay, maybe it is the afterlife for the executioners.
Yeah.
But then that doesn't make any sense because you just crawled into a floating guy's head.
well, I don't think, I never thought it was the afterlife, but I did believe at that moment in time that he thought it was the afterlife.
Right.
So,
I agree.
And you begin to learn like more and more about, apparently, like early on, you learn that there are no babies in this culture because they've defeated death, so there's no reason to have babies. You know, which was interesting. I hadn't ever considered that aspect before, like of having defeated death.
Right.
Would maybe necessitate the decision to not procreate.
Right.
Either.
And which also breaks your junk by not using it.
Yeah.
Use it or lose it, Buster. And they didn't use it, so they lost it.
Yeah.
Now they have no sexual urges. They just are rubber people.
Yeah.
So this is also a public service announcement. Masturbate, folks.
Yep, got to do it. So she takes him to the tabernacle and sticks him on a machine. And the inside of the tabernacle has walls made out of naked people?
That's the cloning facility.
Okay, so why are there adults in there?
They're almost done.
Oh, okay.
So they do reproduce them through clones.
Only if you died.
If you die, you get cloned.
But you can't die.
And there's quite a few of them in there. No, you die. He shoots Arthur Fiend and kills him.
Right.
And then it shows Arthur Fiend's fetus being regrown.
Right, but
And
they
it takes
all
like
have
about a
them-
week and a half.
Then what's the movie about if they can die?
They only die when they leave the vortex, I guess. But not very many of them leave the vortex. And you kind of get the idea that Arthur Fiend only leaves the vortex because he's off doing his own thing. So maybe this movie is built on a fallacy of itself.
Like,
I think the cloning is how they defeated death. Like they're able to re-implant your memories, and they have his memory record up to a certain point.
Then
he's like turned it off, knowing he only wants people to know so much. But also, you see these people in their normal menial tasks and they're not very good at it. So that's why the cloning facility's full, is because these assholes like trip and fall and get their heads stuck in the oven when they're making bread. It's like, time to mow the lawn, and he jumps into the lawnmower like, oh, I did it again. Need a new one of me. Download me. This time upgrade my lawn mowing skills.
Okay. I got questions about that, Sam, but okay.
You know, I think you're right, but I didn't pick up that was a cloning facility.
Yeah. Okay. We got to move on.
I'm with Carl. I didn't think it was a cloning facility.
She's asking him why he is there. That's the whole point of the scene.
Sure.
Why are you here? You're not supposed to be here. Let's check your brain. So she gives him a brain scan via the tabernacle, I guess, and images flash up on the walls, and it shows him being an executioner. She's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you're kind of a like too good at it. You're too like awesome. So there's something weird about that, and like you're not supposed to be churning them into farmers as well. You're just supposed to be out there killing people and like bringing them back to us.
Yeah.
But Zardoz has commanded him and his troop of executioners to take some of these people and turn them into slaves, farming slaves.
Yep.
To grow grains and things of that nature.
And there's one farming slave that looks like Roger Daltrey, so he gets shot in the head.
You know who that is? That's John Boorman.
Oh, really? That was his Hitchcockian cameo?
It is indeed. And what happened was he got actually the wad came out embedded in the back of his head. He got shot with the blank.
Nice.
Had to go to the hospital for like 4 days.
Don't point it directly at people. You're supposed to point it away. The camera angle fixes that. Stupid Sean Connery.
Yeah, stupid.
Yeah. Stupid.
So the ladies are like, well, what's going on out there? What's Arthur up to? Is he getting loosey-goosey with the rules in his Zardoz thing?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out more about this guy. But they can't access all of his memories without his permission. And he won't relinquish that in his mind thing, even though I guess he did for this first part.
Well, he did show them that he was raping a lady.
Yeah.
He shows them that like 4 times.
Yeah, they're like, wait, his dinger works.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
You know, at that point, if you haven't had sex in 300 years, you're jumping on that wiener.
But they don't have working junk, Jackie.
The ladies do.
Well, it doesn't.
They never say that the ladies' junk doesn't work.
Well, it's not that the junk doesn't work. It's that they don't have any urges.
She's laughing like she's like, oh hell no! Give me 300 years. I see Sean Connery in tight pants, and may as well just turn on the bathtub faucet, huh?
Why is she suddenly from Boston?
I don't know.
Because only a Boston lady would talk like that.
Yeah. I want dick.
Explosion baked beans.
So they're like, we got to find Arthur, and like. Be like, hey, Arthur, what's going on with your place? And then they look over, and there's a clone baby of Arthur, and they're like, oh, he's fucking dead. Oh, that's a bummer. Okay. So, well, what are we going to do with this guy? I know. Let's turn him into a television and entertain the peoples of this village.
Yeah.
With his memories.
Yeah.
They come in thinking they're going to see Joni Loves Chachi, and instead they're seeing fucking genocide.
Genocide.
And rape.
They're enjoying it, though.
They love it. This utopian society of bohemians sure has some appreciation of the old in and out and ultra violence.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is. I mean, as you watch the movie, it gives you more and more information to let you know that this utopian society is fractured.
Mm-hmm.
It's fractured to the point where, many people want some type of drastic change to it.
Mm-hmm.
You get introduced to 2 subsets. You get introduced to like people who have been aged and exiled for not fitting in.
Right.
You also get introduced to the apathetics, who just kind of stare blankly at you and just stand there like. And there's definitely a certain element of this utopian population that is desiring both the violence and the sex and the death that Sean Connery represents.
Mhm.
All these things that they've exiled to the outer lands,
Right.
And
they're bored from all this.
Sure.
Their existence is basically wandering around eating green bread.
yeah,
Which is not good enough for them. They've also
and tree yoga.
in tree yoga, and they've also taken all of the art of the world,
Sure.
the statues, the paintings. I didn't see much about music anywhere in there. Or
Yeah, they
It's
had
there
music.
though.
okay. Into this like basement where they preserve it, I guess, for their own memory of things.
They
I
see
don't know.
themselves as caretakers of the world's
Right.
knowledge in this post.
Right. The people on the outside aren't good enough to have their own knowledge. We must be the ones that have the knowledge and care for it. Otherwise, it'll dissipate. Or
Yeah.
something.
Those fuckers would burn paintings and books for warmth.
Very selective history is what they've got going on here.
We'll get to that later, Jackie. Got some questions about all this. So he's gonna be their slave pet, basically. His job is like to clean up the place, like art and stuff, because he's big and strong, and like
Yeah.
he has to. So he's like a slave guy. And this Roger Daltrey guy kind of leads him around all these camps that Carl discussed. The art house, the old folks' home, which is what their punishment is. They age them if they're naughty.
Yeah.
And they put them in the home, which is like a circus tent.
Yeah, it's little bananas. It's
a lot bananas.
It's the old folks' home without the Quaaludes that they pump full of old people to keep them bored and docile. They don't want.
Well, they're
them
having a
partying,
dance.
right?
It's a 24-hour dance party there.
Yeah, it's fun to be old.
I
Seems
think
like
the bored people that are young, theirs is like a slow motion dance party.
yeah,
There's like a lot of dance parties outside. So what happens when you get banished? You get banished into shitty dance parties.
So you think the apathetics in their mind are like, this party is off the chain,
Yeah.
but their body is just like, "Roar."
Yeah.
No, I think they're pretending so that they don't have to make food and shit. They're like, 300 years of being in the bakery, and I was told that I was going to get moved out to like gardening or something exciting. No, fuck this. I am catatonic.
I'll just stand in this barn.
Yeah.
Maybe they only do it at noon when the bread cart comes through, and they're like, is he gone? Yeah. All right.
So the head lady, I guess, of this place is Consuela. There's two basically head ladies, Consuela and May.
Yeah.
And Consuela is like the wants things the status quo. She doesn't like this change that he may or may not represent. She's big on what's going on as far as the non-boners, but she's curious. Like, well, his boner works. That's strange. And I don't know if I like that.
Well,
Yeah. She's like the ultra conservative wing,
Mm-hmm.
and then May's like science.
Right.
And then she wins. The science wins the argument, and then Consuela leaps directly at the boner. She's like, well, if we're going to do a scientific study, boner.
I should have it inside of me in some place.
Because she doesn't do anything else scientifically. Once they keep him for science, that's all she does.
That's all she's interested in. Boner Town. Told ya.
Yeah, to get him like
Well, you even hear early on, though, that because I think, how do you pronounce it? Consuela. She even says to May early on, why are you still interested in finding ways to breed?
Uh-huh.
That's not what we do anymore.
we don't give a fuck.
So, I mean, May's interested in science, but she's interested specifically in learning how to have sex again. That's what she wants science for. So it lets you know early on that this is her goal.
Boner Town, Justin.
When she walks into her lab, she has to like, is this for work or for pleasure?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of both. Now take your pants off.
That's Apathetic Town. That's Old Town. Welcome to Pound Town.
So they show him some porno, I guess. Well, they show him soapy boobs.
Yeah.
A lady just lathering some boobs.
Uh-huh. And I think the first time I saw this, I was like 20.
Uh-huh.
And I realized it doesn't take much.
No.
Soapy boobs is enough.
Apparently, it's not enough.
It's not enough for Zardoz or Zed.
Zed, yeah,
Because they have to switch the channel, the porno channel, to mud wrestling.
Which isn't going to work.
It's gross.
That didn't
Mud
work
wrestling?
for Zed either.
Yeah.
No.
Then they turned it off, and then he just stares at
Consuela.
Consuela, and that's what does it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So where do they get this porno? Is it like mind porno, or did they like have this in the archives?
I think they actually.
Let's say archives.
Yeah.
There's actually just a woman standing back there with some Pert Plus, just going to town.
Well, considering that this whole place was made by a bunch of dirty old men, yeah, it's in the archive somewhere. It's like, well, we can't leave that behind. It is definitely art.
The largest portion of the crystal hard drive is the spank bank.
So this creates a wedge between May and Consuela because May is like, this guy is some sort of mutant. He's a specimen of human evolution. He's strong and fit, and he can do whatever the hell he wants, and he's got a working ding-dong. And so we must protect him, even though he has been sentenced to be exterminated in 3 weeks. And Consuela's like, fuck that noise! This guy's a problem! He's gonna fuck our shit up! We need to destroy him now. Let's have a vote.
Yeah, and he's like, do you want the potatoes or not?
Yeah, he's
Because
just
he's
standing
serving up potatoes, which is what causes the vote.
You guys are talking about murdering me. I'm right here. I'm standing right here with potatoes.
Would you like?
He is pretty blasé about it.
Yeah. Hello.
Well, I mean, I don't know. If you were Sean Connery and you were looking around the room, like, which one of you fuckers really thinks that you're going to kill me?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, they do have
you
mind
over
powers.
there, Twinkle Toes? I don't think so.
They're not going to win in a straight up fist fight, Jackie. But
Well, if looks could kill, but you have to see them looking at you like that to be killed.
Yeah.
So you just close your eyes, get a stick, and start swinging.
well, they also they vote and they decide that May's got 2 days to finish up her studies, and then they're gonna-
7.
7 days, sorry, to finish up her studies, and then they're going to whack him. But they've got some other business to attend to at this vote party because Roger Daltrey has been a little too radical with his views and ideas for this place.
How did that come out, by the way? Because I kind of missed where they decide. I mean, did something come out and they say, "Oh, by the way, let's vote on this guy," or did they? Did something come out at that dinner where they realized they had to vote on him?
Yeah, because he was supposed to be making the potatoes and serving them, but he was having Zed do it. No, I'm serious.
Really? Oh,
So he
okay.
was having Zed do it because he was like, fuck this, I don't want to serve potatoes, which is what the apathetics did, right? And they're having a dance party in the other section of town. And he's like, well, why shouldn't we have slaves? And they were like, because everybody has to do it, suck nut. And he was like, no, I don't. I've got Zed. And they were like, that's it. Level 2 yoga power.
Yeah.
No.
He doesn't want to go, and that's strike 2.
Yeah, they
So-
give him spirit fingers. They wave their spirit fingers at him,
Yeah.
which takes him to the second level.
He doesn't want to go to the second level because then they can read his mind.
Yeah.
And he's trying to overthrow the
Keep him
the
out.
norm.
He's putting in a mental dam.
Yeah.
Right. He does not want them to figure out what the plan is with this guy.
Okay, but they get so overpowered, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And they turn him into a half-old guy?
Half old guy.
That was weird. Why not all old? Everybody else in the old circus tent
They're all
was
old.
all old.
100% old.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you had to have that weird mantra about penises are bad and I don't like women and women are not sexual objects. And then he freaks out and passes out on the table.
Probably because he's like tired of getting bossed around for having slaves by
It's
these
like,
ladies.
You guys don't fucking know. You have not been in the Zed rickshaw. You don't have to walk around. He just pulls you around in this cart, which I somehow had a human rickshaw just at the ready.
Right. In case a red pant diaper guy shows up.
Shows up, yeah.
Yeah, I'd totally use Zed as a slave. I'd be like, I'm not doing that potato duty this week.
Well, then they'll age you and put you in the circus tent.
Yeah.
But only half your face.
So he
But you
runs
do
out
get
of
a
there.
nice suit.
So Zed runs out of there. He's like, well, this is getting fucking bananas. And he runs up to this, like, wall. It's an invisible glass wall around
Yes.
this place.
It's time for some special effects. we've got pantomiming,
Yep,
saving some cash.
indeed.
Yeah, but then eventually they put the piece of glass up there because
Oh,
he
yeah.
pushes his face
Yeah,
and everything
yeah,
up
man.
against it. Like, what?
And he's got his bros out there too.
Yeah, then you realize,
Yeah.
wait, this guy's got something going on.
Huh.
He's cooking up a scheme.
Yeah, he's dishing out hand signals to him.
There are so many schemes in this movie
Yeah.
that gets revealed as time goes.
Right. It's all a big scheme.
Yeah.
So then he runs to the old folks' home, and Roger Daltrey's there, and he's half old, and he's like, fuck this place. And he tells the fogies, the old fogies, that Zed can die. Like,
Yeah.
isn't that awesome? This guy can die. And they're like, that is sweet. Let's kill him.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get some pretty fun shenanigans with the old folks chasing Sean Connery around.
At one point, he's like, holy shit, I'm outnumbered. I'm in trouble.
Right?
And then they get a hold of him, and he's like, okay, I guess I'm going to get away now
this
because
is
this
like-
is not it.
Batting marshmallows away that's
Yeah.
being thrown at you.
Some guy tries to hit him with a crutch, which at the speed that he swings it, he basically just hands him a crutch.
Right?
Here is a weapon.
He's like, fuck off. And he fights himself free. And
The way he stops him too is just, turns to him and goes, "Stop it!" And they're like, "You're right. We need to stop it."
so he runs back to May, and she's like, hey, man, I know things have been not going sweet for you, but let's take a little trip into your mind. And he's like, I don't want to. And she's like, well, you need to open up your mind to me so we can travel back in the past.
If he opens up his mind, she'll open up her shirt
Right.
and her scarf because they get underneath like a scarf thing,
Like a blanket.
but it's too thin.
Yeah.
It's just like
It's a sheet.
fabric.
Yeah, it's like when you're a kid and you get under your sheets with the flashlight and read comic books. So your parents
So
don't
that's
know
not
you're-
what they're doing under
Yeah,
there.
that is not. Mm-hmm. So, in this past, he was out wandering around, killing guys, doing his executioner thing. Things are going well.
Uh-huh.
He's got a pretty simple existence, which is just wandering around and shooting guys in the face. And maybe humping a couple ladies or two without their permission.
Sure.
No big thing. And, but things, one day, he lost his innocence because he saw a chase, he saw a masked guy that he shot, didn't kill, chases him into the library, and he's handed a book
Uh-huh.
Yep.
where he learns to read instantly, pretty much. And the whole thing boils down to, after much forcing things out of him by May, he read The Wizard of Oz.
Which is the false religious reality that Arthur Fiend has set up for him.
Right, that Zardoz is just a play on Wizard of Oz, and it's all bullshit. The whole thing's bullshit, man.
I like to watch this movie, and it's almost a shame that we say this because my favorite thing I've seen this movie 5 times now, and I always like to watch it with somebody who hasn't seen it before, and I stare at them through the Zardoz thing and watch how pissed off they get. And I was just like, oh, fuck me. Fuck me. I didn't get it. I should have. Oh, piss.
Yeah, the Wizard of Oz is about an illusionist.
Yeah.
The super powerful illusionist was basically worshipped as a god, much the same as these utopians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
If
it's
he
all
only
bull-
had a brain.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. He has a crisis of conscience and says, "Fuck this killing shit for no fucking goddamn reason. Crap, I'm revolting." And he takes his dudes with him, and they hide him in the Zardoz head in the grain. So it's all
Yeah.
part of the plan. And the plan is to kill Zardoz and get the truth. Is it the truth you want or revenge?
Kill Zardoz and get the truth. Shoot first and ask questions later.
Right.
Find out what he knows. You shot him. He knows that he's been shot.
So Consuela comes in. She finds him under the blanket. She's like, no naughty mind or penis and vagina stuff. I don't like it. Let's get this guy.
So he takes her shirt off and kisses her, and she then just wanders away.
Yeah. After a slight tussle.
Yeah.
But she blinds him too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
With the power of
Yeah.
her mind, I guess.
Yeah.
Or was that like a side effect of something?
No, I think it was with the power of her mind.
Huh.
Let's just keep it that simple.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because then he needs another shirtless lady to give him his sight back.
Right.
She gives him a houseplant leaf to chew on later if he gets in more trouble.
And that third lady almost represents, so Consuelos represents the woman who wants to keep things as they are. May represents the scientist who's trying to learn how to bring sex back to the society.
She's like Justin Timberlake.
Yeah. This woman
Bring sexy back.
actually requests that Sean Connery bring death back to their utopian,
Right.
Like-
Because she's the revealer of their entire society. That these guys, the world was going to shit. They were the rich, the well-to-do, the people with means and access. And they said, the world's going to shit. We need to block off the shit by building a bubble dome, I guess.
Yeah.
And then we'll hang out and things will be cool because we can't die. So that's going to be fun. But it didn't work out. So meanwhile, outside is the poor people, the ones without means and access, who are sentenced to death, essentially, to fight and die.
Well, did you notice, though, that nobody's hanging outside like they used to outside of this place? Like staring in at the rich people.
Yeah, they're down on the beach having a party, a murder party.
Yeah.
I think that they created the
The exterminators to
yeah.
drive them away.
Yes.
the
Oh,
executioners.
absolutely.
That's what they did that for.
Yeah, is so that they wouldn't have to look at the trash.
Right. Absolutely. So, Consuelo's team, everybody's factioning up now. Consuelo's formed her own group, and they are trying to catch him, and he's in the plastic bag pot room, and they pummel him, and he's like, breaks out of there, and they're like, that's not possible. He can't break through that because he's strong. He's a specimen, and they're all weak and feeble.
And they've never actually tried to push their hand through Viz Queen.
Right. So he escapes, and he goes out to the wall again. He signals his men, and they're like, got it, dude. We're ready.
Yep.
And the ladies chase him on horse, and they chase him into the apathetic little barn thing,
Yeah.
where they're like moving pretty slow and not really seeming with it. But one he molested earlier. I guess the molesting has broken her a little loose from being apathetic.
Actually, I think what broke her, because he molested her and nothing happened, did some other stuff, nothing happened. Then he goes batshit crazy and starts breaking stuff, and violence woke her up.
Ooh. Oh.
Yeah.
He also chucks her like 20 feet.
Yeah, he does. I was pretty amazed at how far he threw that woman. I was like, wow, Sean Connery is strong.
He can chuck a lady pretty far.
Yeah.
So she reaches up and she's like, ooh, your sweat. And she licks it and she's like, oh my God, it's a fucking amazing. You gotta try this. And so she starts swapping the sweat around all her cronies. And they're like, that's some bomb diggity right there. Let's make out and have an orgy.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
That seems to break their apathy, but
And they're horny now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he eats the leaf and he starts running again.
Right, because they found him. They chased him out of there. And what's the leaf do?
You know,
It restores his strength.
but it doesn't really, because all he does after eating it is run and hide.
Right.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And he's
really-
already broken out of the plastic bag.
Yeah.
Well, they were starting to take his strength from him for the boning.
Oh, they're sapping
They were
his,
sapping his virility.
mojo.
So he pulled something out of his pants and ate it, and he gets his virility
So it's
back.
like
sure.
herbal Viagra.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that
Like Carl's like, sure.
Yeah, so all you kids out there, if your virility's gone, just grab a leaf from a ficus and eat it. It's not poisonous, I don't think. And
I'm
they're in houses everywhere.
probably going to get sued for that, Sam. Good job.
Oh, get sued.
Yeah, you know.
You told me to eat a ficus for an unknown reason, and I did it.
I also didn't get a boner.
Yeah.
I'm 12.
I may or may not have gotten my virility back. I don't know if I fully understand the concept.
So he hides outside until night comes, and the old people find him, and they're like, "Whoa, this is the best! Thank you for unleashing us.
Yeah.
Can you kill us now?" And he's like, "Dude, this shit's fucking crazy. I don't have time for that because all these apathetics are running around banging each other. It's like fucking Caligula lives there now.
Yeah, no, this shit has gone Island of Dr. Moreau.
Yes, totally. What is that called? The patients are running the hospital?
The inmates are running the prison.
Yeah, there you go. So May's like, dude, we got to get you out of here. Let's dress you up like a bride, and I'm going to take you down to my basement, my bone pad, my tabernacle of taco time.
Sure. This is another one of those. Why'd they do this? They had a wedding dress. Yeah. I think half of it, the guy who's only half old, friend, why'd they do that? Makeup guy did it, and John Boorman was like, cool.
Right on.
All right.
Yeah. So May's like, okay, here's the deal. We're going to tell you everything. We're going to plug you into the Matrix. We're going to download all sorts of information into your head. You're going to know every single bit of knowledge that we have to give, which is basically all of the knowledge of mankind. And all you have to do is lay there and bone me.
And he's like, oh, and my 6 friends. And he's
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Okay, wait, what do you get? I got my half of the deal here. What's your half?
They want babies.
Not the potatoes.
Well, not the potatoes.
Nobody wants those potatoes. They looked good. They were the purple ones. I like those.
So then we get a learning and boob montage, which is kind of fun. He learns that one of the things that the old folks did, because they were the builders of this vortex before their children betrayed them, essentially, and made them super old and live in an old folks' home by themselves.
Yeah.
They put crystals in their foreheads.
Yes.
Is that to give them mental power?
That's where their telekinesis and telepathy comes from.
I believe so.
And
yeah.
it's all not there. It's actually coming from the main crystal, but their satellite crystals connect them. So they actually have 0 actual powers.
Okay. It's all because of this crystal.
Yeah, it's technology, not magic or telekinesis.
Fuck, you ruined it for me.
Yep.
Real magic, that's what you wanted?
Yep.
Abort Zardoz.
Well, there is some, Jackie, because later on, when Arthur Frayne comes back, he produces a white dove from his coat, seemingly out of nowhere, which is in fact real magic.
Hocus pocus abracadabra. Speaking of Arthur Fiend, Zed is in a wax museum. It appears he's next to the statues in the archives.
Yeah,
and they've got wax museum guys in there for some reason. I don't know.
Why not?
Costume department.
That's
Pinewood.
historical figures, kings
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
queens
right.
and gods.
Usually that's done in statues. Wax melts. I don't know. Maybe they're mannequins.
At least a couple of them were.
Mm-hmm.
They had a very mannequin look to them.
Well, Arthur's one of them because he's a real joker.
He is, man, for a guy that tells jokes, he sure isn't funny.
Yeah.
And he's like, look into the crystal if you're ready. Woo! What do you see inside? And Zed's like, nothing. Oh, shit, the ladies are coming. They've broken in here. I got to get out of here. And Consuela finds him looking at the crystal. She walks up to him and tries to stab him in the back with a knife, but she can't because... Anyone?
Boner.
I guess.
Because violence is not part of their society.
That's it? You got moral code. These two got boners.
He says, you're not going to kill me because you want to bone me. And she's like, yep.
No, he goes, you're not going to kill me because the hunt is so much better than the actual kill.
And then they arrange a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they get married right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That took a turn.
Yeah, you would think that if he was going to end up with somebody, it would have been
May. Right.
But she leaves the Utopia.
She's already got what she wanted.
Yeah, she leaves the Utopia with her fellow scientists to start a new colony or something somewhere.
Listen to some Ace of Base. All that she wants is another baby. And she's gone tomorrow on horseback.
You do realize that the babies, this utopian society that they start will be all based off of inbreeding. So there's that.
No, they'll go get other people.
Oh, there's 6 of them.
They run into the tax accountants and then...
I thought they were all dead.
There's more.
No, they're farming.
Yeah, they're farming.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess he loves Consuela now for not stabbing him, but she was just about to kill him. He looks in the crystal, and now he's ready. He's got the power to realize shit. So he asks the Amazon Alexa ring about the crystal, and it's like, well, I can't really tell you much about it, but long story short, I am the crystal. I live inside of it. Would you like to come inside? And because I'm God. If I'm not God, then what am I? Check me out.
Yeah. He's like, nope, you're a computer. Fuck you, or whatever.
This gets really fucking weird.
Yes.
This is the power of projectors and mirrors.
Yeah, the inside of the crystal?
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
It is.
It takes maybe a little too long, but...
There's two scenes specifically that look awesome but take a little too long that begin to wear your patience, and that's the educating scene where they're painting
the learning and boob montage.
Yeah, the learning and boob montage where and the mirror scene towards the end. They look awesome, but there are moments where you're like, okay,
Wrap it up.
You're beginning to lose me now.
Yeah.
Really, I actually disagree wholeheartedly. I think one of my favorite things about this, the more I watch it, is how fucking sidetracked he gets on those. Because it's not just those two. There's another couple of periods in this movie where he just gets sidetracked on something that he's doing, and he just stays there for too long, and you're like, this kind of adds to what this thing is.
I mean,
yeah, I agree.
I mean, I agree, but I think I think especially with your first watch, it is a problem that almost kind of like, I don't know, interferes with your, it interferes with your full enjoyment of it as a movie, but on later viewings, it probably helps you enjoy it for what it is, which is something just crazy and messy, you know?
Yeah, and I kind of agree with Carl. The sex scene, education scene, too long. Started to piss me off after a while. But I didn't mind the mirror scene. It was okay.
The mirror scene's a little neater. Because there's some weird stuff that does happen inside of there that you can get away with the camera while using the camera and flashing images on these mirrors. And it's well lit, and you can't really determine within the frame where actual Sean Connery is located at. I like some of that for sure, but it does go on. Anyways, we're going on and on about it. But he gets out of there by shooting himself. Like, that's how you escape the thing? I don't really know how he gets out.
Self-sacrifice.
He killed who he was. The man that I was before is now dead. I went into the cave that Yoda told me to.
Right.
4 years before he told me to. Actually, 6 years before. I think fucking Lucas stole this part.
I might have.
And they stole it again in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, so he's out, I guess. And the old folks and the orgy people have found him, and they're like, we got to get him out of here. But there's still Consuela's leftover guys that want to kill him. And he's like, okay, well, that's cool. I've got now suddenly rewind power. And he's outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
I liked this part.
The rewind power, it stinks.
I like it because
it's so dumb.
I like that the statues get put back together, and I like seeing like people that obviously had jumped down from somewhere, like jump back up. I don't know. I like the rewind thing. I think it looks cool.
I think it's stupid.
It is weird, though, because if you decide that they never had magic powers or mind powers, it was always just the crystals.
Right.
Then where is Sean Connery getting his powers?
Well, it's clear that he got it from the crystal.
Yeah.
But it's not... Maybe just being in a proximity to the crystal is enough?
Maybe.
To have rewind power? I don't know.
I mean... Lots of questions in this movie without any real answers, obviously.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You know.
Well, we'll get to those. So he visits the old guy. This old guy is dying.
He's the founder.
Okay. And he's like, you're cool, Zed. Bleh. Thanks for killing me. I guess he killed him?
Yeah.
Somehow he introduced death back into Utopia, which is...
What was the means of this guy's demise?
Crystal poisoning.
He wanted to die.
So he just did it?
Yep.
So Zed didn't really even do anything. He just stood near It was like, yeah, I guess if you want, go for it, man.
Somehow, through his time in the crystal, he managed to turn off the not die switch.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, he turned off the not die switch.
All right. Huh. And that guy's like, ah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That causes Zardoz's head to fall from the sky, though, and crash to the ground. I don't really know.
I think the mainframe is down.
Okay,
Yeah.
the system is down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
yeah.
Huh. No more.
The tabernacle is broken. The not die switch has been turned off. The floating head crashes. The pantomime force-filled wall disappears.
Everything was all powered by the tabernacle.
The machine
Yeah.
has stopped.
And the crystal was the key piece of the tabernacle.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, that's all right. Good. Everybody's outside. They're like, this is sweet, man. We're jacked up. We can die now. Go ahead and kill us. And Arthur's like, yeah, see, this is all part of my plan. I genetically engineered this dude and let him sneak into my Zardoz head and brought him here. It was all me for us. Aren't I cool?
And look, it's a white dove because I also know magic.
Don't you like me?
And
no,
then
no, we don't.
No.
friend's
yeah.
like, oh, you're so funny. And then finally somebody shoots these two assholes.
Interestingly, before, because when he gets out and they ask him now kill us, but I guess Sean Connery has lost that death drive or whatever.
Yeah, he's not
because,
the person he used to be.
But because the mainframe is down, the other exterminators they've now been able to invade.
And start blasting fools.
Yeah, because that was Sean Connery's plan all along, is to somehow bring his, his
Death Squad.
brethren
Yeah.
in, so they could all get revenge on worshiping a made-up god from out of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
I think the shooting the Utopian scene is another one that goes on too long, but I like this
Oh,
one.
yeah.
It's hilarious.
It just keeps going.
Kill me next.
And it's especially worth it when Friend and Fiend get.
Oh, man, just back and forth on those two assholes getting shot. So everything's worked out. May's taken her troop westward, where she'll remain Galadriel. And Zed and Consuela go to the Zardoz head that's crashed on the ground, where they bone down and make a baby and then sit on a shelf inside for 60 years until they rot.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're allowed to assume they do other things.
I don't think we are, because what happens in this what's that called when you do that? It's like still shots pasted together. It's not a montage, but it's essentially a montage.
Yeah.
Elapsed time.
Yeah, lapse time. They eventually reach over and hold each other's hands when they're about 60 years old, and then their skeletons are also holding each other's hands in the exact same position, implying that they didn't move.
Or it's metaphorical for that's what we're all doing.
Yeah, maybe. It's probably metaphorical.
The son was
I'm just being too
sentimental and went and posed his parents' skeletons.
He's like, I got to get one to end the book.
Yeah, right.
Selfie with two skeletons. Hey. Hashtag bummer.
That's the movie, guys.
Yeah, so that's it. It's a weird, so you have through the whole thing, and you slowly discover Sean Connery's plan, which is to break Utopia and get revenge for being made to believe in Zardoz. But you find out that itself is Friend and Fiend's plan, so that they can introduce death back into, Utopia. And because I guess Utopia isn't Utopia without being able to die.
Well, you can't have the good without the bad, right?
It seems like they've lost their human nature in full by trying to become this purer form of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
More human than human.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to go first on their questions?
Let's hear it. You
Okay. Is this a Republican utopia? Is this what Paul Ryan wants with his fucking Ayn Rand bullshit? We lock the poor out, and they can do their thing while us richers get all the cool stuff and like immortality and
It's a very sexless utopia, so yeah.
Yeah, and there's also, to throw the GOP under the bus, there's no black people.
There isn't any black people.
Right.
That's true.
So is this a metaphor for that type of, like, is Boorman making a statement about people that want this type of, like, you may want it, but what you're actually doing is fucking your own life up, along with everybody else's, you greedy fucking bastards.
Well, maybe. I don't know about that because they're presented with this catastrophic event.
Mm-hmm.
So symptomatically, if he's saying it, it's symptomatic. I don't think he's saying it implicitly.
Okay.
I think that the explicit meanings here are that this is sort of humanity's last flag stick, and it's going to hold out as long. This is the only way we can save everything is by doing this.
But it doesn't save everything.
It doesn't.
Right. So the movie is telling us that the only way for this to work, to make it all utopian and not a bullshit utopia, is everybody works together and is equal. You don't lock the poor away. You invite them in.
Well, one of the things I think
almost think the movie is suggesting instead that a utopia is a unworkable premise, and a society where death and fucking and violence happens is
outside.
The outside society is the only true society, and that what they have is this fake society that is unsustainable. So I think it's more of like a anti-utopian statement as much instead of trying to suggest that what utopia should be instead.
Yeah, human nature is part of nature.
Right, absolutely.
But I could also see how somebody might interpret, because again, we've mentioned before that the society has kind of a very, it's devoid of a certain aggressive masculinity. So I could see where some people are trying to might try to interpret it as almost a liberal utopia
maybe
gone wrong.
Maybe.
Absolutely.
But I do like you being able to turn that on its head and say, no, this is like that fucker Ryan Paul's utopia.
Yeah, Paul Ryan.
Paul Ryan, yeah.
Ayn Rand, son of a bitch.
Yeah, so... but it is interesting to me how you could almost interpret it as both a Republican or a liberal
by being genderless.
By being genderless. Utopia gone wrong. Either way, I just think it's more or less a statement against utopia
in general.
In general.
Right. I don't know if it does that at all. I feel like it's just this is what would happen in this scenario if you had to pull a lockdown. That's why you kind of you could go either way politically. The other thing that I feel like the movie never really says on purpose is that this isn't the last of all human civilizations. This is just one of these camps. We don't really see anything outside of this area, and I think that's very intentional that there could be other things, but this is just this small corner of the world.
The biggest hint the movie gives you, which is one of my other questions, is it says this is vortex number 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's 1 through 3 like?
Exactly. So it's
John Boorman's hope that this would be a huge franchise.
I know what Vortex 2 is. It's that place that Wesley Crusher trips into and then gets the Enterprise and all sorts of fucking adventures and like, oh, we gotta, Mom, come save me. Remember that episode? Yeah. Stupid Wesley.
Now, it's one of my favorite post-apocalyptic sort of tales is when nature sees fit to take back the escape pod that man built for itself. And it's only been done properly a couple times. I think this is one time. There was a Japanese series called Ergo Proxy that does the same thing. It did it very well. One that doesn't do it very well is After Earth, is basically the same idea, like, oh, Earth's ready again now, but it was fucking god awful.
Yeah, it's not even worth being on our show.
So what you're saying, Sam, is it's not much of an anti-utopian message, but a anti-isolationist.
Yes.
Like this like idea that to survive we must put up the walls.
Right.
And
break ourselves away from the world that we came from.
And I think that you actually trace the idea back to the book The Machine Stops, but the idea is you absolutely had to have the machine or the vortex or whatever it was. It is a survival method, but eventually what happens is the society inside of it becomes so homogenized that they stay in too long. They could have gone out probably generations before, maybe even 100 years before, and restarted repopulating the Earth, but they're so stuck in the status quo that it takes nature taking them back for them to actually understand this isn't needed anymore.
Right.
The Earth fixed itself.
And that there's no way to avoid that.
Yeah.
No matter if you made different decisions along the way, there's still you can't have this world that you've created because nature will take it back from you.
Will eventually.
Yeah.
My question is, how do you become an executioner?
You get hot pants, boots, and a bandolier.
Yeah. And
A
like
gun.
That can't be that
do you
easy.
think Fiend specifically organized the executioners himself? That's what he was in charge of.
Yeah.
that's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like there was a lot of selective breeding going on as well.
Now, do you think Fiend was organizing the executioners with the colony's knowledge or without their knowledge?
Without, they say that. We don't know what he's doing out there.
Yeah, he's loosey-goosey.
I think originally the executioners were part of the reason that he was given his role, right, is because they
Yeah.
don't want all the poor kids smudging up their glass and stuff, and they got tired of them looking in on their patio.
I can see you breathing.
Which is a good question. How hard is it to make an opaque?
Right. Get some tint.
It's got a nice view. You don't want to. The only thing ruining the view is those poor people.
That's right. Because, in the beginning, when they show the flashback, all the poor people are standing around this dome. And, later, you don't, by the time that we get to our current day adventure, there's nobody standing around this dome. It's like they don't even know that the dome exists.
Yeah.
So it almost leads me to believe that the executioners were originally, they're like, yeah, okay, Fiend, go out there, get us some male specimens, give them some guns, and tell them to get these fucking poor people away from us. Execute them all.
Or if it was disease, maybe they're actually a like kill the diseased, but it's gone awry. There's a line that Friend delivers about the apathetic, because that's the reason. It seems like him and Fiend are sort of in the know on the farming thing too. Like their society is no longer self-sufficient.
Right.
That's one of the side effects. So it's like Arthur Fiend has had this sort of different journey where maybe he started cleansing the earth, then all of a sudden he needs to do this other thing, which is cultivated so that he can save the society that's left. And now he's realized, wait, the earth is saving itself. It doesn't fucking need us anymore. And you know what? I'm tired.
I'm really tired of this crap. Shoot me in the face.
My best friend is a dickhead.
I have one more question.
Sure.
Is the crystal the internet?
For all
No.
intents and purposes, it's like it's the mainframe and the internet for them. Yeah.
It has many of the same purposes that we use the internet for, so it kind of
has the cumulative knowledge of all mankind ready at its fingertips at any point.
I don't know. Am I going to get a sweet ring?
The Ring of Power? Well, you got it. It's called the Amazon Alexa. You ask it questions, and it spits out
and
answers
it
to you.
sends you pizza.
Right.
Yeah, but
So
I can't wear that around.
So I don't know if Boorman was really trying to predict what would happen with the internet.
No, but vicariously did he?
But yeah, and would he call the internet God
That's my other question.
if he, like if we could go and ask him and said, hey, you imply that your version of the internet was God. Would you consider the internet to be God?
I think that he doesn't think that. He implies that the machine, because of definitions, will identify itself as God, which it does in the film. And I don't know if the internet could become self-aware. It probably would declare itself a god of some
right,
sort.
and then murder us all.
Skynet,
the whole thing.
It would send you poison pizza.
Yeah, right. It's another layer that's on top of this fucking head scratcher for this film that, wait a minute, are you making a statement on man versus machine with this thing?
Yeah.
In general, and also Utopia, like this thing is a goddamn layered film.
Absolutely, because they would have left the dome a long time ago had it not been for the central machine core.
Yeah.
You realize it's the thing that's sort of keeping the status quo more than them.
Which means Wall-E ripped this movie off.
But the Matrix did too then.
A lot of there's a lot of this is actually a pretty influential movie.
I think so too. Which leads us to wait, any more questions?
I'm good.
You know, it's just so mind-numbing confusing to just, you know, like by the time you get through it just to keep up, you just kind of like, for me, myself, I just kind of, after I got through it, I got, well, that happened, you know? So I think through talking about it, I don't think I myself have any questions.
Well, then let's get to the final recommendation. I give it a do. It's an important film in film history and a lot of fun as well. So do for me. Sam?
I not only give it a do, this is one of my favorite movies. Not bad movie, good movie, just like this thing does it for me. This is one of my top 10 favorite films in any sort of category.
It's the soapy boobs, isn't it?
The soapy boobs really push it over the edge. I'm telling you that right now. But this thing fucking speaks to me. I love this movie.
Jackson?
Well, we all know that I do not like post-apocalyptic movies.
Sure.
But this one, it's everything I've ever wanted in a post-apocalyptic movie.
Yeah.
There were societies. Not everyone was dead. Like Carl said, there's definitely a separation there between the haves and have-nots. And I just enjoyed the fuck out of this thing. I want to own this movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
I loved it. It's a definite do. I am so glad you brought it over, Carl.
And it's a do for me, but I'm gonna say it is still unique.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see as much movies as we do, that in itself is something. That's not ever nothing. When a movie manages to be that unique, whether it fails or succeeds in its purpose, that's still something.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
Like the uniqueness of it itself.
It's a bold thing that this thing was trying to chase down, and whether it got there or not, hey man, you took a shot at it, and that's something a lot of filmmakers do not do.
I think that there's another element to it that it's just like, it's a shame that more movies aren't allowed to fly by the seat of their pants production-wise because of what this one ended up with, doing just that.
Yeah. There you go. That's 4 do's on Zardoz. We have delayed streaming do's and don'ts for too long. We are going to have to tackle a couple, guys. Carl, you will probably be familiar. You'll be able to help us at least with some of these. I want to talk about a film currently streaming on Netflix called Gremlins 2 that Jackie and I watched.
I haven't seen Gremlins 2 since I was probably like 19, and I think I hated it.
The main thing I want to talk about Gremlins 2, because I'm going to give it a do. It's Gremlins. It's cool. It's obviously not the fucking film mastery that the first one is, but still a good time. It loses a little bit of itself. But what I do want to talk about is the main villain, if you exclude the Gremlins themselves, which this guy is the progenitor of the Gremlins even happening. So without him, the film doesn't happen, and he does it on an evil way without ever having a redemption, is a New York real estate developer by the name of Daniel Klump.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
The villain of the fucking movie.
Yep.
The bad guy.
He's the president now.
Greed. Corruption. We knew who he fucking was in the 80s. Joe Dante told us, and we didn't listen. We forgot about Joe Dante.
Well,
everybody forgets about Joe Dante. It would help if you made a movie, you know, Joe, you're out there. I bet you could still do it. Go ahead. Anytime now.
Yeah.
Well, this is when we get the sexy female gremlin, too.
Oh, absolutely.
That ends up marrying the bodyguard guy at the end.
That's right.
I forgot about the gremlin wedding. That's right.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time, but I give it a do just with a caveat. It was just like, remember, this is not the same genre as the first Gremlins.
Right.
The first Gremlins is actually way more horror than comedy, I always found. This movie is just nothing but pure
Gags.
gags. It's not scary at all.
And some of them are truly ingenious gags, and it does take some risks as far as the comedy that it tries to do. Specifically, there's a scene where again the fourth wall gets broken, but this is the 80s. The fourth wall getting broken wasn't really that big of a deal. Like, nobody really did it well. They go and sit down and watch, the Gremlins themselves go down and sit down and watch Gremlins 2 in a movie theater. And they throw popcorn at each other, and they fuck up the film footage itself.
Yeah.
And you're well, it's streaming, so. But when you had the tape in back in the day, the VHS, it was that old. The tape burns up. What is that? The
Film.
The tape.
Yeah, the film. No, I know what the film is, but what's that? When like the film burns in the projector.
Yeah.
There's a process.
It's so when the gear grabs and the film stops moving, the light is so hot that if
Burns,
it's not
yeah.
moving, it melts what's in front of it.
There you go. That happens, and apparently I read, because I went on to IMDb trivia after watching this, that they had a shitload of returns when this came out on VHS. Like, my
God
fucking
damn it.
tape is broke, dude.
Oh my
no, you
God.
stupid idiot.
Watch for 2 seconds.
Jesus Christ.
Like, the second that happens, they're like, you have to actually
Turn it off!
sprint to the VCR and push the button so hard that you probably broke your VCR.
That it shoots out and
Yeah.
like busts through the window behind you.
Yeah, you've got a broken window, the tape's broken, your VCR's broken, and you go to Blockbuster and beat some teenager half to death because you couldn't wait 2 seconds.
Because of fucking gremlins fucking up your goddamn movie.
Yeah.
You got gremlins in your machine. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was better than I was expecting. I was expecting to be like, over
Like
and over
Beastmaster
again.
2?
No,
I mean,
Beastmaster 2 was awesome.
If you're hoping for the same type of movie,
It's not.
it's not. You're going to be horribly disappointed.
Right.
But it is. I do like the fact that they were willing to do switch genres on everybody. That's kind of ballsy in of itself.
Yeah.
So
Next up, Sam and I watched this on Shudder.tv. We've been interested. Been waiting for some time to get access to this film because we missed it when it was in the theaters. Bullet Tooth Tony, Rocket Raccoon.
Rocket Raccoon.
What's that guy's name? Bullet Tooth Tony's real name.
Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones and Bradley Cooper in...
Piper Parabo.
Oh, Piper Parabo. In Midnight Meat Train.
Actually, it's not Piper Parabo. It's somebody else, but she looks sort of the same.
Yeah, it wasn't my...
It's
great job.
Whoever
is
the
that the
actress is.
Clive Barker?
No.
Yeah,
Is
so
that
it was
based on a Clive Barker story, or
somebody that has a name, quote unquote, produced it, bought it. It was a Korean film, or a Korean director that was imported to the U.S. to do it.
Yeah. Boy, is this sure a miss.
Wow.
Like-
When you go all the way and you just name it Midnight Meat Train, you really gotta sort of give me a fucking Midnight Meat Train, not a boring ass movie about a photographer and his girlfriend.
Yeah. That well, I'll fucking spoil it. I'll spoil this fucking movie because I'll go ahead and say don't
Don't do it.
fucking waste your
It's-
time with this piece of shit.
Bleh.
It's about demons or aliens?
Vampires?
that live in the subways?
But they're stupid vampires that
They're-
can't even feed themselves.
They
So
can't
like,
even feed themselves.
oh, we have to preserve their society. Why?
Why? So they hire guys, or like guys volunteer to take care of these things by murdering people and driving the train into their home and being like, here's your fucking dinner, Tina.
Yeah, and she doesn't even eat it because she's Tina.
She's fucking Tina the llama, smarter than these goddamn vampires. Why would you do this?
It doesn't make any sense.
Then in the end, he has fought to like save people's lives. Like, well, I'm gonna stop the Midnight Meat Train. I'm gonna fucking beat up Vinnie Jones. And so him and his girlfriend and like his bro go into the Midnight Meat Train, and they're like, fucking take this. And then they all die except for Bradley Cooper, and he's like, well, shit, I guess somebody's got to feed these fucking vampires.
Yep.
Might as well be me.
Might as well be me. Now you're the guy.
Yeah, he becomes the guy.
And he gets a crappier job than the one he had, where he has to kill people. I don't
Could you
think
even
he gets
imagine
paid that much.
how much crime would decrease if they had a meat train? Like, you wouldn't want to get arrested because you're going to end up on the meat train.
Huh.
Wait. What?
Prison population.
Okay, what?
Extremely decreased.
I think that you should
just
go back to
throw
the
them-
fucking Germany pre-1940.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Ayn Rand, Paul Ryan. What the fuck?
Adolf Hitler is a little.
I guess
more-
don't get a traffic ticket because Jackie's going to fucking shoot you.
Yeah,
Were
we're-
they-
That's not true. I said feed you to the vampires.
Were they
There is
using
a
criminals?
big difference.
What's that?
Were they using criminals?
No! They're
These were just
using
regular
schmoes.
people. That's where, like, you're like, oh, imagine the crime rate is like, it would go up because of all of the murders on the goddamn midnight meat train.
I haven't seen the movie, so
Don't.
Do not.
It is such a fucking miss. Like, what the fuck, guys? Seriously. It had a couple good effects here and there as far as people getting murdered,
Actually,
but for the most part, it was shit.
My biggest problem with it is that when it finally does do gore, it sucks.
It's digital.
It's not any good.
Yeah.
It was
A lady got her head lopped off, and I did like the way that they presented it, but it doesn't look good. But I did think that the way it was brought to us was okay.
Yeah.
But no, it sucks. Fuck that movie.
I haven't seen it.
You're not going to.
Don't do it. We just told you not to.
We just told you not to.
Even if you are a proponent for murdering all of humans.
Right.
No, I said
Psychopath.
feeding. You know what? Screw you both. This is a great idea.
Why? Don't think so?
I do. Serving a life sentence? Fine. We'll feed you on the midnight meat train.
You're a horrible person.
Why not make it a game show, Jackie?
Yeah.
Capital punishment.
Yeah.
I
Live on
believe-
television.
Right, like they could run around
They
and
could
stuff.
try to get away.
They could
But
try to-
if they finish, then they
what
get
would
to
we
go
call
to
such a movie?
What would we call a movie
Yeah.
about guys
Running
men
around.
running?
Yeah,
Like
but
a-
then they would also get a vacation and freedom at the end if they could beat the game.
A vacation, too. Like, not only do you get your prison sentence alleviated, but
Only we could have somebody in such a
Welcome to
movie to
Belize.
say something like, "Here is your Sub-Zero. Now he's just a plain Zero."
We'll get to Running Man at some point. That's your show, guys. Thanks for listening. As always, follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/ShakerBadness. Same with Facebook, /ShakerBadness. If you'd like to contribute to the show, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/StinkerMadness. And if you'd like to buy our t-shirts, go to teespring.com/StinkerMadness. Buy our shit.
I would take a picture with my t-shirt on, but it was too small.
You would, except for you don't wear t-shirts because you're a horrible psychopath who wants to murder criminals. So they don't get t-shirts for people like you.
Sure they do. They make T-shirts for everybody.
That's right.
One
You
size
got
fits
money, they'll give you a t-shirt.
Okay, guys. Next week it's my pick.
that's what I was wondering, is where we were back on the schedule, because we snuck this one in.
Yeah.
It's a surprise episode.
Thank you for letting me sneak this one in, by the way.
That's because you're awesome, Carl.
Next week is my pick. I think we're gonna go back to
Back in time.
a familiar. We're gonna do Sylvester Stallone
Oh, boy.
in his 8th appearance on the podcast.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
It's time we got to cliffhanger.
Oh.
So check it out. Enjoy your week, guys. Get to the chopper.
And thank you, Carl.
Yep.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank Carl. Get to the chopper.
Actually, Carl should do to get to
Yeah.
the
What are you
wanna-
doing?
He's done it 3 times already.
That's
So what?
Okay, say get to the chopper, Carl.
Get to the chopper.
Visit us at www.stinkermadness.com. Follow Stinker Madness on Twitter @StinkerMadness. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and get to the chopper.